Hi there, this is Solitude from Solitude Films, and welcome to another random review. And this random review is of Takashi Miike's As the Gods Will. This is a Blu-ray DVD combo, and as you can see in the images on the screen, it's Japanese, it's Takashi Miike. It's based on an anime. Yep, look at those pictures. That's all you really need to say, isn't it? It's going to be a very short review. This is Takashi Miike back at high school, where he was last seen in Lesson of Evil in 2012, which was quite a nasty wee film. Essentially about a school teacher coming back to school and murdering all his pupils. One of Miike's more nihilistic works. Whereas this one is back to kind of a cross between Battle Royale and Gantz, if you've ever seen those two films. So this it starts, we're kind of thrown right into it in the classroom, and pupils seem to have had their heads blown off, as this little doll is essentially doing the Japanese version of "What time is it, Mr. Wolf?" So he turns round and whoever is moving, their head blows off with lots of arterial spray. Again, there's no explanation for it. It just happens. So that game progresses, and eventually the pupils find a way of getting out, and other games commence. Now, throughout probably the first half of the film, you don't know what's going on, just like the students don't know what's going on. As the games get more and more odd, as you can see, there's ones involving a very large cat, and the students dressed as mice. Again, it's Japanese and it's anime. And Miike really deals with it in a very upbeat and kind of very bright palette, apart from all the red. And there's something about Japanese manga or anime based films when they get converted into films. No matter how daft we might perceive them to be, bizarrely they still have a heart. Whereas for me, kind of American comic book movies, Marvel and such, they just don't have a heart. They're not really human. Whereas despite the kind of madness that ensues in this film, there's moments in it that are kind of quite moving in a strange way. There's giant polar bears who don't like people lying to them. There's lots of kind of basic kids games, but obviously done in an extreme fashion. And again, it transpires the reason why is there are large white cubes that have appeared over major cities. So it's like aliens testing the children. Again, very much like Battle Royale, it does seem as it's like a statement against the youth and their disrespect and their kind of snubbing their nose at convention and, you know, fitting in. So they're kind of made an example of, and, well, across the world, millions of high school children are murdered by kind of basic childish games, by big talking cats and the Russian dolls that fit inside each other. It does end, as you'll be glad to know, probably, very much like this video. It does end, but you can tell there's a sequel. I think the original anime was called God's Children, and there's a whole kind of, you know, you have the archetypes of the hero and the hero's, the girl that he hasn't quite said that he likes, but obviously forced together. That comes out. His ex, who left the school several years ago, turns up, and there's obviously the psychopathic kid, as there always is in a manga, bizarrely, or an anime, or a Takashi Miike film. And the psychopathic kid, you know, is always about, you know, I'm one of God's children and I've been chosen, and so that kind of through line. And, you know, they are viewed as the chosen ones, you know, they've survived, and one of the characters doesn't believe in God and there is no God, and the other one, other characters do believe in God and they believe that they're the chosen ones. So it is kind of relevant as well in a broader picture. But then in the end, the survivors, there is an appearance of what might be God or what might be aliens, who knows, and we'll have to find out in the sequel, because it does appear as though it's certainly leaned towards a sequel. Whether there was a sequel made, who knows, with Miike. He does tend to do, like, I'm not sure whether he's still as prolific with his 12 films a year, but I did kind of look up the interweb to actually see if there was a sequel to As the Gods Will, but I couldn't find one as of the recording of this video. Yeah, it's Takashi Miike. If you like Takashi Miike, you'll like this, and if you don't like Takashi Miike, you probably won't. But again, just look at those two pictures. What's not to like about high school children dressed as mice trying to put a bell through a hoop round that large cat's neck, and trying not to be eaten or crushed by his big paws? Like I said, Takashi Miike, what are you going to do? Please let me know in the comments if you've seen this before, and please let me know your percentage of Takashi Miike films that you've seen. I have a bunch of Takashi Miike films, but I'm sure I've probably only seen maybe 20% of his output. And again, they're always of kind of varied quality, but however you view Takashi Miike, even in his films that don't work particularly well, there's always something in them that you've just never seen before, and that's very rare in this day and age, as we all know, with homogenized films that are just in one ear and out the other. So it's always good to get a bit of a surprise and a bit of a shock now and again. So thank you very much for watching. This is Soldier On saying good night.